the students, when they leave Warren County and they get out of Warren County, nothing wrong with Warren County, but when they get out of Warren County and they see how other students are doing, then that serves as a motivation factor for them to compete with everybody else. Right. And I think that's one of the things over the years that a student would go to a convention and a freshman and would become so awed at what's going on and think, I want to be on that stage 4 years from now. Right. And so a lot of our students will set goals, and my duty is to assist them to try to reach those goals.
And you heard him say it in that video. It wasn't just about agriculture. It wasn't just about the FFA. It was about motivating students. It was about giving people what they needed to be successful, sometimes even before they knew themselves that they needed that. So I did bring one item with me, and I started looking at this, and it looked very familiar to the names of the county commissioners that I saw on Tuesday night.
Giving manner is something that I'll cherish forever. So, on behalf of the Warren County Board of Education, Warren County High School, it's with great pride and honor that the current Ag Wing is now the Russell Watson Ag Wing. All right.
Security Federal Savings Bank is always pleased to provide virtually every banking service you could ever need. But more than that, we are proud to offer a relationship with you, your family, or your company. We've been here supplying just what you need and building a trust, a relationship. And that's something hard to find these days. Our bankers are here for you, here to help. If you are interested in a relationship, come to the friendliest bank in town, Security Federal Savings Bank, member FDIC.
The MyUsage app is a way to conveniently pay online, anytime, day or night. You can also come by any Caney Fork Electric office and sign up for the prepay option available using the MyUsage app. Know exactly how much electricity is used each day and the cost. Best of all, no monthly bill. You can set up email or text alerts, keep track of your usage, and pay your bill, all with the MyUsage app from Caney Fork. Caney Fork Electric, keeping you informed.
Grace Family Pharmacy announces new medication packaging service. It provides a simpler, safer medication experience through convenient, personalized packaging using the latest in pharmacy robotics. We're located at 357 West Main Street. Our phone number is 931-473-6418.
McMinnville, you're a great place to be. McMinnville, Tennessee.
Welcome to another edition of Community Insight. Join us as we travel Middle Tennessee, uncovering history and experiencing the adventure of unique stories and events coming to you inside your community.
That's what education is really all about. Connecting with people and leaving a lasting legacy. So that's what we're here to do today, is celebrate that. And so I'm honored to be a part of that, and we're so thankful that you are here. We have several folks that are going to get up and talk, and it's my honor to introduce Mr. Tommy Colwell, who's going to kick us off.
Thank you, Dr. Swallows. Just to reiterate what Dr. Swallows said, we're here today to honor the legacy and the impact that Mr. Russell Watson had on Warren County as a whole. First, I want to start by thanking his family for being here. What an honor that is for them to be here and be a part of this with us. All current and former students of Warren County FFA, thank you for being here. I thank Mr. Hobbs for making this possible, Ms. Danielle Smith, Ms. Tracy Reisinger. They put a lot of work and a lot of effort into this. Jonathan Womack, very instrumental in helping with this. I know Mr. Stephen Helton's going to be speaking behind me. I want to thank Mr. Chris Cope as well for all the work that they've done to make this possible. And I apologize if I've missed anybody, and if I did, thank you for making this day possible. I just want to take just a few minutes to reflect back on what a day in Mr. Watson's class was like. Why did y'all snigger? All right, I'm going to need some honesty, but we will not be specific. Did anyone ever lean back in their chair? Okay. We had some honesty right there. Okay, when you did, what were the three choices? You had the high C, you had the short fast, and the chopper. Anybody that had Mr. Watson in class, you know what those three was. All the other extracurricular activities that took place, whether it be at Camp Clement, State Convention, Farm Machinery Show, when Nationals was still held in Kansas City, there's some things that happened in those places that stayed in those places. You know what I mean? I dare say there's some secrets that are still being withheld that moms and grandmothers have no idea what happened. A little more sniggering. We all have those stories. And like I say, those are memories that we're still holding in our heart today. Let me just say, and I want to thank the good Lord above that there wasn't cell phones or social media when I went through in the early 90s to mid-90s. Because if there had been, Mr. Hobbs and Dr. Swallows, I think it's safe to say, y'all might have had some sleepless nights. Even though most all of Mr. Watson's trips were adventurous, to say the least, everyone here can say they were memorable. And yes, memorable in many ways. These trips opened the door of opportunity to young men and women who would have never been recognized had it not been for Mr. Russell Watson. I'm sure everyone here has newspaper clippings, as I said, of awards and recognitions that were only made possible through the efforts of Mr. Russell Watson. Mr. Watson believed in us even before we even believed in ourselves. Warren County schools are blessed every single day with teachers who are willing to invest and impact their students. But occasionally, you cross paths with teachers who leave you with more of a personal impact. For all of us here, that was Mr. Watson. Mr. Watson could take a poor farm kid from Warren County and make us look like millionaires when it come time to fill out your record books. Mr. Watson helped numerous students obtain scholarships, help make the connections, with job trainings and everything else. Mr. Watson was also the type of person that would call you into his office when he knew you were struggling. Maybe something going on at home, maybe just needed to talk. That was Mr. Watson. Mr. Watson would give up time with his own family to make sure your family was okay. There's not a person in here who didn't have a death in the family that Mr. Watson went there to pay his respects at the funeral home. Folks, when we hurt, Mr. Watson hurt with us. I want to close with this. As a sitting board member, we have the opportunity to cast impactful votes, whether that's a vote on granting teacher tenure, policies, raises, bonuses, budgets, capital projects. But as for me personally, to be able to name the Ag Wing and Russell Watson in such a deserving manner is something that I'll cherish forever. So, on behalf of the Warren County Board of Education, Warren County High School, it's with great pride and honor that the current Ag Wing is now the Russell Watson Ag Wing. Thank you. I'll turn it over to Mr. James Bennett.
When I became principal here in 2002, Everybody'd already heard of Russell Watson all the way across the state and outside the states. And I asked Mr. Watson to come into my office, and I said, what do you want your program to be in the next 5 years? He said, successful. I seen that determination in his face. I seen the pride that he had. And I said, well, what are you talking about in successful? He said, I want every student that I've had to be successful when they leave Warren County High School. And I thought that was one of the most touching things that when I was first on the job here, that any faculty member had said to me, because we're all in it for touching the lives of all of our students. If you look around today, you see in Warren County and outside of our county, all the students that's come through that under Russell Watson, and see what their leadership and their determination and their pride and their qualities have been, because he instaured that. And I will tell you this, I know this for a fact. He could be your friend 1 minute and bust your tail the second, because I've seen it done. But he loved them all. And the thing about it was, he always made a point. If he got on you, he always made a point to tell you something positive before he left you. It is my honor as part of a board member and a former principal here. I'm so proud that we're dedicating this wing to Russell Watson. Thank you.
The advisor, here by the owl. Why by the owl? The owl is a time-honored emblem of knowledge and wisdom. Being older than the rest of you, I'm asked to advise you from time to time as the need arises. I hope that my advice will always be based on true knowledge and ripened with wisdom. Those words Russell Watson spoke so many times, and he lived by them. Russell guided most all of us in some way, some fashion. As we've been working on getting this program together and we were spreading the word about it, I was calling different ones to say, hey, we're doing this for Russell. And I said, did you have him? Some people said yes. A lot of people said yes. But there were some that said, no, I didn't, but I know him. And he affected my life. I either went to church with him or our family was involved in agriculture, and he helped me in some way, some fashion. That's who he was. That's what he was. He cared for each and every one of us. I waited too long to tell him that. I went by the Webb house probably about a year ago, and finally went in and seen him. And I'll never forget going in and seeing him after so many years. I went down and it was already lights already out, and I talked to the lady there, and she said, oh, go see him, it's fine. He's already went to bed, but it'll be fine, go on in. So I walked in his door, he's laying there asleep. Without hesitation, he rolled over. He looked up, got the sleepy out of his eyes, and he called me by name. He knew me. He knew my dad. He knew my family. He cared about all of us. He would ask, and that night, rolled over in bed, he asked about my neighbors and if I'd seen them. His mind may have slipped a little bit there at the end with his disease, but his passion was agriculture. He thought whenever he was at the Webb house that he was on an FFA trip. He thought that he was making this, he thought he was in East Tennessee, I think, whenever I talked to him. And I think why was that? It's because that's what he loved. That's who he was. And he was out making a difference. That man was known not only in this state, but in the nation. He was Mr. FFA. Whenever other ag teachers were struggling to try to figure something out, they called him because he helped write the book that they were trying to figure out how to teach. The SAEs and all that, that's who he was. And he touched so many of us. He helped shape so many of us. My story is much like a lot of y'all's. He carried me to the very first leadership conference. I remember I went to Washington, D.C. We went up there. I went with Brendan Savage. Next thing I know, I was standing in front of a group about like this or a little larger, and I was the MC. Never would I ever have thought that I could do that. Russell knew it though. And he so often pushed so many students to become better than they were. Russell didn't always get the cream of the crop. A lot of times, Those students that just had to have an elective got pushed off on Russell, and they ended up in the ag classes. Russell never treated them different. He always treated them with respect. He always treated them with honor, and they always looked up to him. That was what Russell was all about. He taught me more out of the classroom than I ever learned in any classroom. He taught me how to treat people. He taught me how to stand up in front of people and talk just like I am today. His dedication and devotion, in my opinion, is unmatched by any other teacher. He had 44 amazing years that he served this FFA program in this school in this county. Through that, he taught multiple generations and thousands of students. Whenever you start adding it all up. His dedication to this county, literally, he helped shape it. The other night, we had his family out to the county court, and we did a proclamation, and our county executive will read that shortly. And everybody that had him was asked to come down. Over half of the county commission come down out of their seats and was in that picture. Russell Watson touched each and every one of them and helped them guide them. Our parliamentarian that's in the county commission, he was in FFA. I wonder where he learned how to be a parliamentarian. I wonder where he learned how to do the parliamentary procedure. It was through Russell. That's where he learned. The miles that the man traveled, they can't be counted, whether on bus or plane, and sometimes the driver's ed car that had the extra pedal on the other side that was occasionally needed to be used. He gave many students their very first, whether it be the first time to venture outside of this county on some kind of judging event, or the first time to ever cross the state line, the first time to ride in a plane, the first time to go to national convention, the first time to ever spend the night in a hotel. He got a lot of these students out that never would have ever went that far, but he took them. He gave them goals. He gave them aspirations. He would point to the stage and say, if you want to be there, I can help you get there. And he sent a lot of us there. I was actually very fortunate in the aspect that I got to be the very first Middle Tennessee regional officer. Russell put me there. I wouldn't even known about it if it wouldn't have been for him. The trips like National Convention, State Convention, the Farm Machinery Show, go Alice. He was a big Alice Chandler's fan. Camp Clemens and Leadership Conference, the judging events, and so much more. We all cherish those. As Tommy was saying, those memories. If he was to write a book, some of those chapters would definitely be, how to teach, how to fill out an SAE, how to keep a record book, maybe even how to do a fish fry. But the chapters and the stories that would really get a lot of our attention was maybe the mishaps. And if you find his memoirs, you can burn those for all of us here that live in Warren County. Those adventures could include maybe chasing bears in Gatlinburg, or hot sauce cold drinks on the roof of a hotel somewhere, bathtubs full of beer, smoking behind the ag building, or I think my father's favorite, knocking out the bus window while going to National Convention. So he kept that to himself. He dealt with that. The truth of it is, a lot of us probably would have been expelled from school if we come back and was to tell those stories today. And Tommy, you're right. I think my mom and dad still don't know about a few of them. Words to live by. When you die, will you be missed? I think today is a true testament about Russell Watson and his life. He is missed. His memory lives on through each and every one of us. And we need to do him honor by keeping that memory going, keeping his passion going. Miss Smith and them with the FFA program, keep his legacy going through that.
and keep wearing those corduroy jackets, because that's what he loved. That was his life. Was the world a better place because Russel Watson lived? I think the answer is a resounding yes. Thank you for this opportunity. We're glad to be able to devote the Ag Wing to Russel Watson, and may we all aspire to be like him and have the effect on as many people as he has. Thank you.
I'm Philip Prater, and I have stories just like the rest of everybody here. And I'm not going to bore you with all those tonight, but no, it wouldn't be a bore. Everybody here enjoys them but I know the school board has business to attend to after this and everything, so I'll keep mine very short and brief. But I think Dr. Swallow said it best, and Stephen even touched on it as well, the legacy of Russel Watson. We can all sit here and talk about his memories, but it is a legacy. Again, as Stephen said, he gave opportunities that wasn't there for an old country boy from Centertown. Give me the opportunity to participate on a national level, just as he did as many of the folks that are in here this evening. But more than that, he taught us life lessons. There's been many a nights that I've been at his house working on projects or things or whatever, go on the weekend. But when it come time to go to church, Russell said, Philip, let's go to church. And we went to church. But I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank the school board, director of schools, and the staff here at Warren County Senior High, or Warren County High School now, not senior high. It was senior high when I went to school. But thank y'all for doing this. This is something I think that will keep Russell's legacy on the minds of many people here for a long time to come, and it's very well deserved. But I'd especially like to thank his family for sharing him with us, because he absolutely devoted so much time that I know had to come back from them. Not that he didn't love them, not that he didn't spend time with them as well. I know he did. But how the man had so many hours in his day, I'll never know. But I appreciate the family, appreciate them for being here, but know that he was loved, not only by everybody here in Warren County, but statewide and national. Stephen touched on it as well. I had attended judging events and stuff with my children and been out of state, out of county, and people come up to me and says, how's Russell? How's things going? How's things changed down there? We miss Russell. And I mean, it was an every event a thing. It wasn't just one out of the blue. It was every event we went to, somebody was coming to me, knowing I was from Warren County, knowing the legacy that he had everywhere. And they'd come, how's Russell? How's things going? He not only touched lives here, he touched them all over across the nation. And as Stephen said, other ag teachers would call him and ask him about certain things with the FFA program. And well deserved, because he knew it just like a Bible. And nothing fit him more than the part that the advisor's part of the opening and closing ceremony. We were talking in the back, and I want to point out, his legacy it's lasted over 2 generations, sometimes probably 3. I know my father-in-law was in his first class at Dearborn High School before consolidation. And then I think when they come to down, correct me if I'm wrong, Stevie Glenn was the first president after consolidation. Several of those presidents have passed. And of course, some of us are still here. But Russell would come by my office on various occasions and tell me exactly how many former students that he had passed away. He knew the numbers. He knew their names. That's how much he cared for all the students that he had. And he knew those facts. He could tell you exactly how many national farmer degrees, American farmer degrees, recipients that he had in his students, the state degrees, the award winners. He knew all that by heart. And it wasn't because it was because he cared, because he loved his students in Warren County. And we appreciate that so much. But again, thank you to the school board, to the county for passing the proclamation. I think there's no other person more deserving than Russel Watson than this. So thank y'all.
I'm Terry Bell, the county executive, and this is a really special thing for me. I was the president of the FFA in 1983 under Mr. Watson, and today I probably wouldn't stand up here and read a proclamation from you if it was not for Mr. Russel Watson, because he taught me what leadership skills we had, and at the time I was probably a little stubborn, didn't want to participate in some of the things we had to participate in, but he coached us on and made us all better people because of that. And I never dreamed that I would use some of the things that he taught us, but I'm using them in my job today. So me being county executive is definitely needs to be a credit to Mr. Russel Watson, because I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't went through the agriculture program and the dedication that he placed on everybody in Warren County. And so we were fortunate enough at the county court meeting Tuesday night to pass a proclamation honoring Mr. Russel Watson, and I'm going to read it to you now. Whereas James Russel Watson was born on August the 5th, 1945 in Woodbury, Tennessee, and earned degrees from Tennessee Tech University as well as Tennessee State University, and was an educator in the Warren County school system. And whereas Watson's career as an agricultural instructor began in 1967, where he alone taught the only agriculture program in Warren County, Tennessee for 2 years. And whereas Russel Watson was a dedicated agriculture teacher where he inspired students for 44 years, his passion for agriculture and education was evident through his involvement with the National Association of Agriculture Educators, Future Farmers of America, and the Middle Tennessee Irish Association. And whereas James Russel Watson worked with over 280 state FFA degree recipients, 100 American degree recipients, and 7 National Star finalists. Thanks to his tireless efforts, Warren County currently holds the national record for the most star finalists. And whereas during his career, James Russel Watson earned the highest respect from his students and colleagues in agriculture, leaving behind a lasting legacy of achievements that no other can duplicate, changing the lives of many of our citizens forever. And therefore, on behalf of a grateful community, I, Terry Bell, County Executive of Warren County, Tennessee, am honored to declare February the 18th, 2025 as James Russel Watson Day across Warren County, and thus extend a sincere thank you for all his years of service. And I want to thank all the people that have put in the effort to name this hall after him. They couldn't be a more deserving man have that name. Thank you.
Yourself, as far as I know that you was once my teacher, and many generations of kids you have taught and continue to teach to this day. Tell us a little bit about your history and how long you've been doing it.
I've been teaching. I started at Dearborn High School in 1967, and I taught there for 2 years till they consolidated all 6 county high schools into one high school. And then I became the only ag teacher, was the only ag teacher in the county in 1967. And then so when we consolidated, then that provided all the other students from the other areas, the other high schools that didn't have an opportunity to take agriculture to enroll in agriculture education.
You've been through the different processes through, like you said, you started with Debrel High School and then going over to the Warren County High School. Now, you've been there about 40 years, right?
I've been at Warren County High School 40 years, so I have 42 years in.
Are you going to retire?
One of these days, yes.
Right. Well, I mean, as far as you enjoying the kids and stuff like that?
Yes, I do. I really enjoyed working with the students. They're basically the same as they have been all these many different generations. People keep coming up and saying that, oh, they change. No, they basically don't change. There's some factors that have changed over the years, but these individuals that we have in agriculture education are, it is an elected course. It's a course that they want to be in, and we went from a say our program went from a 1-teacher department to now a 3-teacher department. $18 students have earned at least a $500 scholarship, and they can go to any school they want to go to. They can go to a technical school, they can go to a horse farming school, they can go to a barber shop school, they can go to a nursing school, any type of thing that they can do towards educating themselves above the high school level on a post-secondary level. And so that's one of the things, the good thing about this particular program is that when we ask people to make donations, then it is helping every one of those students because they're going to get the advantage of it.
Many people's always seen y'all selling pecans and stuff like that.
Yes, that's our Christmas fundraising, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we just have concluded our Thanksgiving, and we are just about to conclude our Christmas fundraising as far as taking orders, and we've had according to the way the economy has been, it's been down some, and we will adjust to what activities and so forth that nature that we do. We do have to pay for our own transportation and gas costs and things of that nature, substitute teachers, in order for these students to get the benefit. And one of the main things I need to emphasize on this is that as you talk about leadership training, the students, when they leave Warren County and they get out of Warren County, nothing wrong with Warren County, but when they get out of Warren County and they see how other students are doing, then that serves as a motivation factor for them to compete with everybody else. Right. And I think that's one of the things over the years that a student would go to a convention and a freshman and would become so awed at what's going on and say, I want to be on that stage 4 years from now. Right. And so a lot of our students will set goals, and my duty is to assist them to try to reach those goals.
Well, I know that you've done a wonderful job. A lot of viewers may realize this, they may not, but a lot of the FFA students, some of them may not be as active in the football or this and that. This is a instrument whereas they can motivate themselves, like you were saying, and hey, compete for some things that goes to the national level.
Good afternoon. I am Kurt Watson. I'm the oldest son of Russell Watson, share his name. Kurt Russell Watson. I never caught any flack over that. Give me just a second here. I wasn't expecting to hear his voice tonight. It's been a while. I do want to say his family wants to say how grateful we are to Warren County High School, to the Board of Education, to the County Commission, to the County Executive, to everyone that played a part in making this happen. My dad he loved Warren County. We lived in DeKalb County, but he drove to Warren County every day. I don't think it was just Monday through Fridays. He was here on Saturdays and Sundays as well sometimes. He loved this community. He loved the people in this community. I know he had opportunities over the years. He could have gone and taught somewhere else, and he turned down those opportunities because he loved Warren County, and he was loyal to Warren County High School and the families and the students that he had here. One of the things that I get apologized to a lot by a lot of his students that say, he spent so much time with us, I'm sorry that it took that time away from you guys as his family. You don't have to apologize. It didn't take time away. When you saw that slideshow, a lot of those pictures, we're in those pictures. DeKalb County didn't have a very strong FFA program. And so we tagged along when we were in FFA. We tagged along before we were in FFA. I was probably the first Warren County FFA picture that I've seen of myself. I was probably about 2 years old, sitting on a wagon in the parade, on the FFA wagon in the Warren County parade. I guess it was the homecoming parade. So we've been involved with him. He brought us along. My mom, we've been to Gatlinburg. That was family vacations, Gatlinburg and Kansas City. We go to Louisville to the tractor pull and the farm machinery show. So we feel like we grew up as part of the Warren County family as well. I will say, being invited to the court meeting the other night, I was taken back a little bit, as Steve said, by all the members of the commission that were his students, and how many people, when Mr. Bell said, if you were a student, go get in the picture, and how most of the people on the commission walked over to get their picture made. And Stephen had said to me, and I put it on Facebook, but you don't think about, in the moment, you don't think about it. We grew up, like I said, with several of these students, and but the impact on the county and how the people now that govern the county and run the county were influenced by him. And you heard him say it in that video. It wasn't just about agriculture. It wasn't just about the FFA. It was about motivating students. It was about giving people what they needed to be successful, sometimes even before they knew themselves that they needed that. So I did bring one item with me, and I started looking at this, and it looked very familiar to the names of the county commissioners that I saw on Tuesday night. And I hear there's more than one. I think this one, it looks very similar to the one that was in that picture without the tape on it. Like I said, I think there's some more, but I'll have this here if anybody wants to, hopefully not use it on anybody else, but take a look at it. Several memorable names on here, but just another tool to motivate, right? So half your county commissioners and your county executive were motivated by my dad, and just again want to say on behalf of his family how grateful we are for this honor and for this recognition. We know he would be thrilled with this. We know my mom would be thrilled with this. There was never a bigger supporter of Russel Watson than my mom. And if you didn't think so, all you had to do was ask her about it. But again, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
So if we can have the members of the Watson family and the school board members come up, we're going to present them with a plaque. Mr. Cope, I'll give this to you. And so this plaque reads, honoring 44 years of dedication, leadership, and impact on agricultural education. A mentor to thousands, his legacy grows in Warren County forever. The Russel Watson Agricultural Wing, dedicated on February 20th, 2025. We'll do that in just one moment. Ladies, it's all yours.
Thank you. My name is Tracy Reisinger, and I wanted to speak to let everybody know that I appreciate everything Mr. Russel Watson did for agriculture, Warren County High School FFA, and career technical education. Through his hard work, guidance, leadership, commitment, and investment in our students at Warren County High School, our students and programs were successful. So when Mr. Bennett mentioned that Mr. Watson wanted his students to be successful, that truly happened. He made our students successful and our program successful. He made a difference in the lives of our students that they have not forgotten. Thank you, Mr. Watson.
Good evening. I'm Danielle Smith, the current Warren County FFA advisor, and I too also had Mr. Watson. So when I took this position, I knew I had very big shoes to fill, and I will spend the rest of my career trying to fill them. As we've heard tonight, Mr. Watson has touched many lives throughout our community and FFA world. If I were to say 110, how many of you would jump in your seats? His impact will continue to reach FFA members for years to come through the children and grandchildren of his former students and every student that journeys through Warren County FFA. As we close this ceremony, please join the Warren County FFA officer team in celebrating the legacy of Mr. Russel Watson with a slice of cake as you reminisce of your own FFA journey, experience, and memories of Mr. Watson. Thank you.